Hey, third graders, welcome back. We are going to finish our last chapter of the Year of Miss Agnes today. And at the very end, you're going to learn a little bit more about the author and some other books that she has written. So if you want to read more by her, you'll have those titles. Okay, today, after we finish reading, you're going to have an assignment in Google Classroom to reflect on this story. Chapter 17. We got back from fish camp late in September. It was really fun to be there, but I missed Miss Agnes. Since she wouldn't be our teacher anymore, I wished we could just stay at fish camp all winter too. Then we wouldn't have to get used to another new teacher. At camp, all my cousins from Nulato were there, and the aunts and my Uncle Patty. Boko taught everyone her sign language. It was the first time she talked to all those people. She wasn't afraid anymore or shy like she used to be. They were all happy to see Boko so easy like now. And they all bragged about Mama when she talked to Boko with signs. Like she was the one who invented sign language. I think that made Mama feel good because she was nicer to everyone that summer and not so bossy. We had hard work there at fish camp, just like every year. Uncle Paddy and his big boys would put the fish wheel in the river, and then they'd go out every morning in the boat to get the salmon out of the box. My aunties and Mama would cut the fish in strips, and then they'd drop it into the big tub full of salt water. Boko and me would take it out of the salt water and carry it to the fish racks to hang up to dry. It was really hard carrying that slippery, slimy fish just out of the salt water, and if we dropped it in the dirt, our aunties would just yell at us. But we got a lot of fish, maybe more than any year. This year, I wrote down the fish every day on the calendar. At the end of the week, Boko and I would add up all those fish. Boko and me were the only ones who could add those three numbers across. The grown-ups were proud of us. Mama didn't say anything, and she tried to act like she knew all along we could do adding, but I knew she was proud of us too. We could tell she didn't think school was a waste of time anymore. It seemed like everything reminded me and Boko of Miss Agnes. Everything had something to do with what we learned from her, as if we just woke up to see the world around us and way beyond us. But when we thought about the things she taught us, we thought about her not being there anymore. There was a lump in my throat every time I thought of that. I thought how we'd go to England to see her, but I knew I was just telling myself a story. But maybe we'd always look for that to happen. The way people think something better is always going to happen to them someday. It is late at night when we get home from fish camp. It is raining, dark, and gloomy. No lights anywhere. Even old man Anderson must be asleep. No one knows we're coming. Grandpa ties the boat and jams a pole in the mud to hold the boat away from the bank so it doesn't swamp. I have to carry the cooking stuff we're bringing home. It clanks away in an old burlap bag, knocking against my leg. Boko is carrying another burlap bag with our radio in it, all wrapped up in a piece of tarp. When we come around the corner, we see a light in the school. Someone has a lamp there. The new teacher. Boko and I stop to look. I feel terrible, and Boko does too, I can tell. We can't stop ourselves, though. We got to look. I put my bag down and walk softly up to the school window. Boko's behind me. We look in, but there's nothing to see. The room is the same, only darker than it was. Only one lamp burning. Then we see there's a yellow cat sitting on the table, licking one paw. His eyes are closed, and he's licking that paw slowly, slowly. Boko pulls in her breath sharply. We've never seen a cat, just in pictures. It's so pretty. Then someone comes out of the darkness to shoo that cat off the table. And it's Miss Agnes. Her hair is different somehow, but there are the pants. The cat jumps off the table, and Miss Agnes stops to scold him. And then I hear the music. That's King's choir. Boko is crying, like she could hear it too. Tears are running down her face. We stand in the rain and look at Miss Agnes until she moves out of the window and into the back where we can't see her. And then we go home. School will start at 9, and we want to get a good night's sleep. I'll ask her tomorrow why she came back to us. The author of this book is Kirkpatrick Hill. You can see her name on the bottom there. Here's a little bit about her and some of the books that she's written. Kirkpatrick Hill was raised in Fairbanks, Alaska. You can find that on a map. She graduated from Syracuse University with majors in English and education. And for the past 30 years, she has been an elementary school teacher, spending most of her time in one-room schoolhouses in the Alaskan bush. Her 2 previous books, Tough Boy and Sister and Winter Cap, also take place in the Alaskan wilderness and have been immensely popular both in the United States and abroad. Okay, the word abroad means in other countries. Okay, and she grew up in Alaska and she went to this college. This college is in the state of New York. So Alaska is on one side of the country and New York is on the other. So think of how far she must have gone to learn to be a teacher and a writer